Ooh, now she can actually run. I mean, Poirot can power walk if you hold it down, but she can actually run. Oh, and we have a barrier there, so we can't go that far down the runway. Well, driveway. But we had to take a deposition. Because the other one got lost. I'm assuming we're taking this person's deposition.
Good evening. Colonel Armstrong?
Yes. You're the detective they phoned about.
Joanna Law.
I don't remember you.
I'm newly assigned to the case.
It's about time more detectives were involved. My wife, Sonia, she hasn't been herself. Every day.
Well, I mean, there's been a kidnapping. I don't blame her.
You've uncovered something new.
I'm here to speak to your daughter's nanny. There was a computer problem. Her earlier statement has been lost.
Oh, I see. We had hoped. Well, do as you wish. I won't be far if you need me.
Thank you, sir, for not being a problem in this ongoing issue that we're trying to settle. Now, in which part of the home would we find the nanny? Not that room. Nanny Fine, where are you? Nanny Fine? No, she's not in there. Is she upstairs, sir? I will find this nanny. You cannot hide her from me. No. No. Hello? Hello, who are you?
Hello, are you Suzanne Moreau, Daisy's nanny?
Yes?
I found her!
Joanna Locke, a detective working on Daisy's case.
Is there any news?
I'm afraid not.
How can I help you?
I'm really sorry. I'm afraid I have to take your statement again concerning the evening of Daisy's disappearance. There was a computer problem. Your statement was accidentally deleted.
Of course. I want to help in
I'm
any
still
way
trying
I
to
can.
figure out how we managed to have that kind of problem. I don't recall ever having any kind of issues with these kind of agencies losing depositions and statements and whatnot.
Tell me about that night in your own words.
The Armstrongs had a party to raise money for a museum, I think. Mrs. Armstrong is on her board. I was in charge of Daisy. I stayed with the little one all evening, playing with her and reading books to her. She couldn't sleep with all the noise.
And plotting to kidnap her. I'm still suspicious of this nanny. I don't know why. It's just I think it's her bun, the bun in her
I was
hair.
only gone 5 minutes to phone my mother. She's in the hospital. When I returned, Daisy wasn't.
Did you put her in the hospital?
I thought she might have gone to look at the party. But
I'm
then
being so rude to this woman, and I
saw
just
the
met this
handsome
character.
below. I screamed and screamed. I couldn't
She's
stop.
screaming, she's screaming because she didn't do her job right.
Did you notice anything unusual before that?
I was with Daisy all evening. Finally, she fell asleep. I didn't see anyone else.
Not for
or
those 5
notice
minutes we were on the
anything
phone with your mother, who's in the hospital, as you say.
Do you have any idea who did this?
No, I can't see who could have done such a horrible thing. The Armstrongs are such.
Oh, come on, lady. We know you
Like
did it.
my
You're
own
as guilty as a
Thank
$2
you for
bill.
giving me your statement again. I'll get back to you if I have any questions.
I won't be far.
Okay, I have Suzanne's statement, but her answers need some checking.
Ooh, check the facts in the file. Select the element which does not match Miss Moreau's testimony about her phone call. The Armstrongs hosted a party to raise money for the museum, I think. Mrs. Armstrong is on their board as usual for events like this. I was in charge of Daisy. I stayed with the little one all evening, playing with her and reading books to her. She had trouble getting to sleep with all the commotion. Now let's see if you were on the phone with your mother for at least 5 minutes. I don't think you could have been with her all evening because you were, again, you admit you were alone for 5 minutes.
This information does not correspond to what Suzanne told me. Suzanne said she left Daisy alone for 5 minutes, but Mrs. Armstrong says she stayed with Daisy for a while and Suzanne did not return. The detective gets it right.
Suspicious. Cross-check stories. The account given by the two women diverged regarding the amount of time Miss Moreau was gone from Daisy's room. Alright, let's look into this, shall we? It's a kitty cat. I hate you, kitty cats.
A
Toy train.
Now here I am on a real one.
That was actually kind of cool. She's looking at the toy train in this little flashback, but she's still admitting she's on the actual Orient Express.
Lyon, in France. What a lovely looking city.
It is, isn't it? Nothing over here. Nope. No. Can we talk to you again? No, not yet. Can I slap you upside the face for lying to me? I guess not. Can we leave? I need to talk to your wife, sir. Where is she? You cannot hide her from me. I know I will find her here. Unless you have murdered her out of grief. Oh, you're still alive. He hasn't
Mrs.
murdered you out of grief.
My name is Joanna Locke. I'm a detective investigating the kidnapping of your daughter. May I talk to you?
That picture is everywhere.
When is your baby due? Mrs. Armstrong? Sonia?
I don't want to talk. I just want to see my daughter again. That's
Well,
all
I
that
kinda
matters.
need your help, lady.
Poor woman. I can't imagine how she feels.
What is this new nude? Select an element in the file which can comfort Mrs. Armstrong. She wants her daughter. She wants to see her daughter. Take the
That
picture.
is a great detective job. Mrs. Armstrong? Let me show you this.
Daisy, my little Daisy. I miss her so much. How good it is to see her face.
I can't imagine the pain you're feeling right now.
She loved her little stuffed animal, Fluffy.
Is this why the
She
pictures
took
of it are,
everywhere with her.
everywhere?
The kidnappers took it as well. They didn't have to. That means they wouldn't hurt her, doesn't it?
Every lead will be followed up.
It's to keep her calm and comfortable for a while, but
Thank
these are
you.
kidnappers. They're capable of anything.
Shouldn't lose hope. Somehow.
I know
You
it
see,
isn't
I would
like
not
this.
be a good detective in this kind of
But I
situation
just
because I
need to
cannot
promise.
provide comfort. I'm like, well,
And
I
I
mean,
mean
they
to
took
do
it
it.
because they're trying to keep your daughter comfortable and make her feel safe, but they're kidnappers. They could be capable of anything. So,
Do you know where I can find Miss Moreau?
She's
there's
in her
no
room.
need for this. We already found her
Last
on our
door on the
own.
left.
I already found her on my own.
Tell
I
me
can smell
about
the
night
bullshit.
Daisy was taken, especially anything about your daughter and Suzanne Moreau.
Apart from seeing to our guests, I took a moment to check on Suzanne and Daisy in Daisy's room. Suzanne wasn't there, but Daisy was asleep. I sat with her for 10 minutes or so. Suzanne didn't return while I was there, but there's no reason for her to sit there all night when Daisy is asleep. I went back downstairs.
But then why would you tell me that she was there?
May I come back? If I have more questions?
Of course. Anything I can do.
Okay, the stories Sonia and Suzanne tell don't match. I
Check
should
on the
recheck
phone
my
numbers.
file and
Don't check
count
the
Suzanne's
phone numbers in the file. Okie dokie. Because I mean, if there's no reason for her to be sitting there, then why would you give me information that isn't quite true, Mrs. Armstrong? Select another element from which does not match with what Miss Monroe said in her testimony about her phone call. Susan Monroe said I was only gone for 5 minutes to phone my mother. She's in the hospital. When I returned, Daisy wasn't in her bed. I thought she may have gone down to look at the party. When I saw the ransom note on the pillow, I screamed and I screamed and I could not stop. Telephone records for the day of the abduction of the Armstrongs and Mrs. Monroe. Mrs. Morrow, 10:23. Sonia Armstrong called that number to that number. And that number called that number. And Sonia called from that number to that number. John Armstrong at 4:50 called from that number to that number. 11:41 to 11:53 a.m. Mrs. Monroe called from that number to that number. 10:11 to 11:45. From that to that. 10:50 to 11:15. John Armstrong called from his number to 911. Okay, so Suzanne was on there twice. And she called from 10:11 to 10:45.
That is not exactly what Suzanne told me earlier. Suzanne was on the phone more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's about 35 minutes. That's a little over half an hour. She was gone for a little over half an hour. Plenty of time for someone to break in and take the poor child. Lady, your nanny needs to be fired. She's not good at her job. I mean, you'd be much better off hiring Nanny Fine. Oi, Nanny dearest, come to kick your ass. You filthy, brunette-looking liar.
If I understand you correctly, you left Daisy when she was not asleep?
The party was very loud. Daisy was too wound up to sleep. I read her a Motley Mule detective story to try and put her to sleep. Daisy finally fell asleep. Right before Motley Mule solved his case in the book I was reading her. I had to make a quick phone call. No more than 5 minutes.
You want to add another 30 minutes to that phone call
back,
time, lady?
Daisy was gone.
Because there's another 30 minutes there that you were out of the room.
Are you sure you were only gone for 5 minutes?
5, 6, what does it matter? It was very quick.
You say you were only away 5 or 6 minutes, but Mrs. Armstrong says she was alone there more like 10 minutes. And the phone record shows that you stayed on the call for more than 30 minutes, way longer than you said.
My mother is extremely ill. It's difficult for me. I may have lost track of time. When I came back,
I think you would notice if 5 or 6 minutes had passed, or 35 minutes had
You
passed.
have to be precise, Suzanne. A little girl's life is
Because you were
at
gone for
stake.
over half an
Why am I
hour.
doing this? I didn't do anything wrong. I would never hurt Daisy.
I need to check Suzanne's story. She's panicking. Why now? What is she afraid of?
Okay, so what do we got to do now? Reconstruct the facts of suffering mother. Can we do this yet? Reconstruct the facts, reconstruct the following events in the correct order to track the chronology. Kidnapper takes Daisy. The kidnapper places a ladder under Daisy's bedroom window. Kidnapper carries the little girl down the ladder and is gone. Kidnapper enters through the front door. Well, I mean, if they're hosting a party, it could have been someone from the party, and if he's there, he could have had a reason to go inside the house. But then that would question, how would they get out of the house? It's much easier to put a ladder up against a window, sneak in through a window, and sneak back out. Because Mrs. Monroe has gone elsewhere to take a phone call, I'm assuming downstairs out of sight of the bedroom. Maybe if they're staging it to be this simple, they put the ladder there. She's not in the room where she's taking the phone call, but she is then entered through the front door because there's a party going on, so he's able to mix and mingle in between everybody there. Goes up the stairs, takes the child, and then exits through the ladder unnoticed. Yes.
Hey, I'm a pretty good detective after all. The kidnapper places a ladder under the window to Daisy's room. Then he joins the party. Just one guest in the crowd. He somehow knows when Suzanne leaves the room, then sneaks upstairs. He opens Daisy's window, carries her down the ladder, and vanishes.
Unseen into the night. Can we do the other thing? I have this a suffering mother thing I have to work on. Call Mr. Monroe's mother, check her alibi.
detective gets it right.
The number you have called is not in service at this time. Please hang up and dial again, or contact your service provider.
I told you it wouldn't
The
work.
number Suzanne called is not in service? A
You,
hospital?
you even said that earlier. I don't know why you had to call it, even when you already know it. I think if I'm able to find a shortcut to a thing in this game, it shouldn't have to have me doing another thing, because I've already figured out one thing without having to deal with it. That makes me a super detective.
The number you called that night is no longer in service.
I don't understand. That's the number the hospital gave me to call my mother's room.
You told me you were on the phone with your mother when Daisy was abducted.
As we said earlier, I didn't pay attention. And was on the phone longer than I said. But since my mother is very ill,
She is
had to be her
unconscious.
own
She is in a
down,
coma.
Because the
You
treatment
did
is
not talk
approved
to
yet,
your
of
mother.
course. She is in an hospital in Boston for a special treatment. I call her every night to check on her. When I came back, Daisy was gone. I never forgive myself.
I hate this woman.
Are you sure you called your mother?
Yes, every night since she was admitted in December.
Suzanne, I think you really care for Daisy. If you do, then tell me the truth. You can't have been calling your mother while she's in a coma.
My mom really is in the hospital in Boston. She really is in a coma. I wasn't calling her. I was on the phone with my boyfriend, Noah.
Why lie about it? Why are you panicking?
Because
Yeah.
he's gone. I haven't heard from him since the night of the kidnapping. I'm afraid he's somehow connected to Daisy's disappearance.
Now that's useful
He
information.
was just using me somehow. But
It
I
wouldn't be
swear I
surprising a
talked
lot
to
of
him.
men are douchebags.
Yes, for more like 30 minutes that night.
35
So
minutes to be exactly.
he couldn't have kidnapped Daisy at the same time we were talking.
But he could have kept you talking so someone else could take Daisy.
Yes, you can
Yes,
see
kidnapping
why
is
I
not
lied.
always a one-man
Can't you? I
operation.
was afraid you'd suspect me of having something to do with it. You can understand that, can't you?
I
Suzanne,
can,
I want
but
to
you
believe
shouldn't
you,
lie
but
to
you've made
me.
it harder to find Daisy. Do you realize that?
Oh my god. What have I done?
What's most important is not what you've done, but what you do now. Go. I'll be back to talk to you. No more lies, Suzanne. For Daisy. No more lies.
I will destroy you and your
No.
boyfriend.
Then wants me to be or not?
At least now I can see things that she was standing in front of. Books. Ooh, cookbook. A French to English dictionary. I had one of those when I was younger. It was fun. Oh, Romeo and Juliet. Oh, there's the book that she says she was reading, the Motley Mule detective book.
A locked diary? Let's see if I can shine some light on its secrets. A locked diary?
Okay, so I guess I have to find a key. Isn't that around the world in 80 days? I'm gonna take it out on the mother.
Can you tell me anything about Suzanne's boyfriend?
I know she dated our chauffeur for a while. There was someone else she met recently, but I don't recall his name.
According to Susan, his name is Noah.
A toy castle. When I was a kid, I had a police station and a tiny squad car with a siren that really worked.
Ooh, there's a mustache.
Not really my style, but I'll take it.
It's for Poirot. You can give it to him when you leave the flashback. Oi, sir. Did you hear? Your nanny's a dirty rotten liar.
Know anything about Miss Moreau's boyfriend?
Her boyfriend? I know she went out with someone for a while there. More recently, I saw a man in a 4x4 who would pick her up on her nights off. He never got out of his car, just waited for her. She did seem to spend more time than usual on the phone these past few weeks, but she worked hard. We weren't going to begrudge her what free time she had. Since the abduction, she keeps pretty much to herself.
I can understand that.
I won't be long.
Take whatever time you need.
Look through the file for something about a 4x4.
Nothing shocks me here.
That I found outside Charles' bedroom. It was used to remove Daisy from the house. Window usually locked, but the inside was open. The 4-wheel drive.
These tire tracks could well be from Suzanne's boyfriend's 4x4.
It could. I mean, maybe it's circumstantial, but it could.
That's it.
It's something.
No rookie mistake there.
It's definitely something we can go on. Traces of a 4x4. Can we talk to you now?
Any idea what this small key unlocks?
No, I found it one day on the floor. I kept it in case someone lost it.
Here, the key is
Tell
still
me about
fuck
your
all.
boyfriend. Have you been together long?
My boyfriend? Why? He doesn't have anything to do with this.
Please, Suzanne, the sooner you answer
You
my
just
question,
talked to me
the
upstairs
sooner
about
we'll
how
be
he could
His
possibly
name
have something to
is
do with
Noah
it.
Garrett. I met him at the Lunar New Year party.
A woman
in
cannot make up her
London.
fucking mind.
He is a kind and caring person. Although, well, I miss him. He had to go away on business. He should be back.
How suspicious. Learn more about Miss Monroe's boyfriend. How do we do that? How do I learn more about your boyfriend?
Okay, Suzanne. Let's see what you haven't told me.
Finally, the book. February 9th, 2019. Day at the park with Noah. I can tell you he is opening up more and more with me. I chatted on and on about my job. I told him how much I liked it. How much I like the Armstrongs, especially Daisy. I really feel like he's invested in our relationship. That kind of man is so rare these days. Heart. Ooh, February 14th, 2019. Valentine's Day, Noah and I went to the Blue Lagoon, our favorite restaurant, for lunch. It was wonderful at first, but then something happened. Noah received a text message. I don't know what it was, but he said we had to leave. He wouldn't say anything else. Instead, we went away somewhere in the mountains. Finally, we arrived at a cabin in the middle of nowhere. He told me to stay in the car, not very romantic for Valentine's Day. He seems very suspicious. February 23rd, 2019. Noah gave me flowers. He is usually very attentive, but despite everything, I felt he was more distant today. I hope he is well. I would like to be more present for him, but I don't want to interfere with his private life. March 15th, 2019. It's been a while since I wrote in this diary. I didn't have the strength, and I think this is the last time I will write in it. My dear Daisy was kidnapped, and I haven't heard from Noah since that day. It was the night Daisy was taken. He talked and talked, and I left Daisy too long, and now she's gone. I thought he loved me, but he just never called again or anything. He hasn't replied to my messages since the night Daisy. I'm lost. It's my fault Daisy is gone. I didn't watch over her.
I can see why Suzanne didn't tell me everything about this, Noah. It's clear when he disappeared that she realized something is very wrong.
Yes, he's been seeming more and more suspicious the more I looked into him. But also, I should say, I don't appreciate this book having a double-ended key, a secret key. One end that doesn't do anything, and the other end that actually opens the lock. All right, Suzanne, let's talk to you. I'm coming to get you, lady. You, lady.
Tread
Yes.
marks of a four-wheel drive vehicle were found outside the garden on the night of the kidnapping. Noah drives one, doesn't he? Where is he, Suzanne? If you know anything more about him, you have to tell me.
I know what you're thinking, but it's impossible. He was very nice to me. He never did anything to make me suspicious. We went out to eat.
Well,
to the
most
movies.
criminal masterminds
Just
are like
a
that. They're very good
normal
actors.
He's not the only man in the Berkshires who drives that kind of car.
One of these sentences contains a lie. I know what you're thinking, but it's impossible. He was very nice to me. He never did anything to make me suspicious. We went out to eat, to the movies, just like normal couples. He's not the only man in the Berkshires who drives that kind of car. But I mean, you went out to eat, but you left the restaurant, and you didn't say anything about going in the book to the movies like a normal couple. You said he was less distant.
You really didn't notice anything strange about Noah until he vanished?
He could get moody at times, as if he had a lot on his mind.
Maybe planning a kidnapping or something.
You mentioned the Blue Lagoon. Why?
I don't know. I never thought about it. I guess he likes the place.
That makes sense. In your diary, you say that Noah took you to a cabin in the mountains on Valentine's Day.
You read my diary?
I'm sorry, but we have to find Daisy.
She's a
We both
detective.
want
She
help,
has
so
every
yes,
right to
I
do
looked
so.
in
She's
your
working.
diary.
She's working on a case for the
You're
family
right.
you
He
work
took me
for.
to a cabin in the woods. I waited for him in the car. He came out after a few minutes. He was very sweet and apologetic, but he never explained. We went back to the restaurant for dessert.
Did you ever go back to the cabin with him?
No, never.
So what made Noah drive all the way to a cabin in the middle of nowhere? He left her in the car. Why was he there? This is important. I know it is. I can use Suzanne's directions to the cabin and compare them to the map of the area I have in my car.
Yes, you can. Am I done talking to her? I thought I had other things to do, like the movies. Okay. Do I have to use my map in the car? We have a reason to use the map. Oh, there we go. Perfect cutscene. Jesus, that's a big map.
Thanks to the information Suzanne gave me, I should be able to find the cabin on this map.
I mean, this is a lake. It connects to that lake, and that connects to a river. We left town and then crossed two bridges, through some thick woods, then past a cornfield on the left, and then just trees and more trees. Finally, we stopped outside the cabin. Okay, so if we use the thing here, blue is rivers and bodies of water. That is forest and parks when we have rural areas. Okay. Oops. And if I'm right, and if I followed everything properly, it should be this.
I got it. The cabin has to be here. I have to find that cabin. I hope I'm not too late.
I hope so as well. At least we're leaving the mansion. You can still see her there. Nice little detail, she didn't vanish. I do wish the game would give us more facts. That's just another fact I read in the earlier playthrough of this. I'd like for them to include more facts about Agatha Christie and her writing. Cabin, March 29th, 2019, 10 p.m.
Okay, There is this famous cabin.
It doesn't look it doesn't look sketchy at all.
Hello?
Knockety knock knock. Any kidnappers in here?
Nobody. I can't just waltz in without a warrant.
Don't you have probable cause? Aren't you allowed in without if you have probable cause?
Noah brought Suzanne to this dump on Valentine's Day? What a romantic.
But this cabin doesn't really scream romantic getaway, it screams hideaway.
That window is too high to see through.
Is that the bear? Is that the toy?
That barrel is sturdy enough. I could climb
We
on
can
it.
climb on that, look through the window, we have probable cause, so we can get in there. That bear belongs to Daisy. That's our probable cause for us to break in without needing to go and get papers. I'm not smart, but I know enough.
It's Daisy's plush toy. If Fluffy is here, the kidnapper has been here. I have to get inside this cabin.
I told you we have to have probable cause, and if you have it, you can get in there. You can go in now. Kick that door wide open, lady.
I'm not getting through this door by wishing it open. The broom isn't sturdy enough to force the door.
You don't want to kick it open? I mean, I'm sure you can. It's a wooden door, and a dilapidated cabinet. It's not going to take much. A fart could bring it down, lady.
A maul for splitting wood. Perfect for attacking doors.
Alright, we're just gonna here's Johnny ourselves in there instead of just kicking it down. Yeah, I would hold on to it just in case. It's better than nothing.
Look at that. A broken door to investigate. No need for a warrant. Some people seem to have played here before. Some boxes. I wonder what they were used for. A lot of tools. I guess somebody noticed the cabin was about to fall down. The floor is scratched and worn in this area. The sofa must have been moved a lot.
What will we find when we move the couch? A trapdoor, maybe? Exactly, a trapdoor leading down.
Damn, it's booby-trapped. If I
Oh
move,
god, fuck, a
it
bomb.
could go off. And that countdown tells me it wants to go off anyway.
Oh, sweet Jesus. What the hell is this? Okay, now we're on this side.
Okay. So far, so good. Wow, I wonder if that's how close it was. This would have ended my investigation right here.
Yeah.
These rods are heading towards the canisters. It must be the trigger for the explosion. I smell a strong, sweet smell. Damn. I think these are filled to the brim with diethyl ether. Incredibly flammable. It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
don't
the
doubt it.
kidnappers wanted to utterly destroy this place and whoever opened this hatch. A wooden crate? I have to open it.
Is it safe to open that box? Because apparently this little trap door wasn't safe to open.
Oh no. Daisy. No.
I'm assuming that was a
I
coffin.
called in my discovery of the body. Then there was nothing I could do except protect the site for forensics.
Oh dear.
The forensics team arrived an hour later, cordoned off the cabin with crime scene tape, and went to work, looking for physical evidence, fingerprints, testing for fluids, DNA, any clues science can uncover.
Yeah, so I can only imagine how badly that nanny felt, knowing that her boyfriend had a hand in that. Oh no, this is not the good part of an investigation.
They removed Daisy's
this.
body. The autopsy would take place in the morning. But I had one more stop to make.
Yeah, the stop you never want to make when you have this is your job. You never want to break this news to anybody. Yeah, it won't even let me run. Appropriate. Just walk. You two, I am so sorry. I made jokes earlier, but this right here, I can't joke about this part.
That night, I swore to find the monster who killed that child.
Orient Express. Alright, we're back in the snowdrift.
Ratchet? On train? Saw me? How? Daisy.
She was awake?
And then she collapsed again.
I take the responsibility. She was weaker than I realized.
Well, I mean, you needed answers, poor
Lie still
Rogue.
while I examine you. Pupils dilated?
I'm all right.
You are far from all right. You have been heavily sedated. Your pulse is very weak.
I have to finish my story. Ratchet can't escape again. Can't escape.
Have no fear of that, mademoiselle. Ratchet will not escape.
He did.
Must hear her story.
This woman needs rest. I will
Ratchet,
let
if
you know
Ratchet
when
has
she
any
is
involvement
recovered
in this
enough to
kidnapping,
continue.
he's already dead
But I
now.
warn you, it will be some time. I understand, Doctor. Thank you. I have completed my preliminary examination of the deceased. I think that it will interest you. Indeed, it will.
You mean aside from the multiple stab wounds?
Other witnesses to interrogate. You are right. Let's not put this poor woman in danger. There will be plenty of time for her to finish her story when she has recovered. By all means, tell me the results of your examination.
Anakin 32 police detective.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
Yes, don't be braggadocious, Poirot.
Can you estimate the time of death?
Rigor mortis was advanced, but not complete. I estimate the death occurred between midnight and 2 in the morning.
That tallies with the witness statements I've collected so far.
And his wristwatch being broken at
What
1:15.
is the cause of death?
Multiple stab wounds to the upper torso. It's odd there are no signs of a struggle.
could've
That
told you
might
that.
indicate one of the first wounds was enough to kill him.
It seems that Monsieur Ratchet had taken sleeping pills during the night.
Ah, that would explain the lack of defensive wounds.
Mr. McQueen and Mr. Masterman told me that Monsieur Ratchet didn't smoke. Can you confirm this?
I can't say without a more extensive post-mortem.
What can you tell me about the stab wounds?
I counted 12 in all. One or two are so slight as to be practically scratches. On the other hand, at least 3 would be capable of causing death. The angle of the wounds is instructive. Most appear to have been struck by a right-handed person. But you see this one, under the right armpit. It's not a deadly blow, given the depth, but a right-hander couldn't have done it. It was most certainly struck with the left hand.
So, our murderer is left-handed. No, it is more difficult than that, is it not?
As you say, Mr. Poirot, some of these other blows are just as obviously right-handed.
So it's someone who's right-handed who at one point took the knife and stabbed him with their left hand. Unless there was more than one killer.
Do we have a first and second murderer, as the great Shakespeare would put it? The first murderer stabs his victim and exits left, turning off the light. Then a second murderer comes in the dark, does not see his or her work has been done, and stabs a dead body.
Magnificent.
You think so? I'm glad. It sounds to me a little like nonsense. Thank you, Doctor.
Just leave the conversation.
Excellent work under difficult circumstances. Please let me know when I may speak again with Mademoiselle.
Of course.
Owner of the vape liquid. Which is the best way to find out who is a vape smoker? Ask passengers if they like the taste of bananas. Ask passengers if they smoke. Offer passengers a cigarette.
Even a smoker might innocently turn me down. Those I've questioned. Yes, that's certainly a good place to start.
Where's the best way to find out who is a vape smoker? Recall a conversation about vape and cigarettes. Ask Book to remember who smokes a vape. Remember people who I have seen smoking.
Book doesn't smoke. I don't remember. Yes, I have personally seen some passengers smoking. I just have to remember who they were.
Ask someone who smokes a lot if they know a vape smoker. Search for the suitcases of all passengers. Wait for the next stop at the station. Yes, on the first try on that one.
I suppose it's likely they will give me the list of who smokes what. Et voila.
What are the links between Miss Flock and Ratchet?
I must admit I'm not right this time.
There we go, perfect.
That was easy.